The Sega Genesis was an amazing video game console with over 700 released titles in the US alone. Today, I'm going to be sharing my picks for good and cheap Sega Genesis games that you can still find today. Many of these titles you can find under 10 bucks, sometimes even better deals. It just depends on where you look. And here we go. My first pick is Road Rash. Road Rash is a great marriage of combat and racing. There's 5 levels. It's got fun, simplistic racing gameplay as you kick and punch and even steal weapons from opponents and use those weapons against them. And so I really enjoyed this game back in the day. I rented it quite a bit, and I still think it holds up today for classic gameplay. If you're looking for a 2-player option, you can go with Road Rash 2. It offers a little bit more enhancements, but I like to start off with the original release of each game series, and so check out Road Rash. This next game blew my mind when I first played it. It was like controlling a cartoon, and that's Disney's Aladdin. It's a good example when you take a license and you get a creative team around it to produce A+ quality gameplay and visuals. This game is a lot different on the Super Nintendo. I prefer the Sega Genesis one, but it's like controlling a cartoon. The level design, especially the graphics too, really capture the essence of the movie. I really enjoyed playing this game over and over again, and what's great about it too is that it's very common. You can find this almost everywhere. And so look no further than Disney's Aladdin if you're looking for a fantastic action platformer. Next up is an iconic arcade title, and I think it's well done on the Sega Genesis, and that's Ms. PacMan. And this game, I think, translates well to the Sega Genesis. It even has a 2-player option. It has the speed boost, which I like playing that way, and I think it's got some different modes that aren't available anywhere else. I did an individual video on this title as well, showing why I think it is a good port of the classic arcade, adding additional features. And so if you're looking for just some fun maze action, look no further than Ms. PacMan. This next title is overlooked. I would consider a hidden gem on the Sega Genesis. This game is fairly common, and you can find it typically for a good deal, and that's Subterranea. And this is a great game, especially if you like video games such as Gravatar or Solar Jetman. You are underground and you're in a ship and you're rescuing miners as well as grabbing parts and going back to base. And so if you're familiar with the games mentioned, then you're going to feel very comfortable with this game and you're going to enjoy it. Fantastic, overlooked title on the Sega Genesis, and relatively cheap still. There was a ton of Sonic games released on the Sega Genesis, and I think that Sonic 2 is one of the best. Sonic 2 is a great upgrade from the original, even though the original was great, but adding additional gameplay features, even has like a 2-player mode, and so I think Sonic 2 is one of my favorite 2D Sonic games of all time. It is super common too. You can find this game everywhere, and everything from the bonus levels to the visuals, it pops. It really is a good example of what the Sega Genesis could provide in terms of graphics and gameplay. It's one of Sega's finest games ever created. Sonic 2 is a great pick. There was a lot of fighting games for the Sega Genesis, and it was hard to narrow down kind of what one to pick. And so there are several. So this is my pick, and that's Super Street Fighter 2. It offers, classic Capcom fighting experience on the Sega Genesis. I do recommend a 6-button controller if you're going to go the route of playing this game. All the iconic characters are here, moves, and I think it's safe to say that the Sega Genesis version doesn't look as good as a Super Nintendo, but I do think in terms of gameplay it's spot on, and so I really like what they did with Super Street Fighter 2. Blanca is one of my favorite characters I enjoy playing, and if you're looking for a fighting game, you can't go wrong with Super Street Fighter 2. This next game is actually one of my favorite games on the Sega Genesis library, and this is Desert Strike. I rented this so much back in the day, I probably could have bought it. And Desert Strike is a great combination of action and strategy. And so Desert Strike is a great game for many reasons. In this isometric view helicopter action strategy game, you can just blow things up, or you can spend your time and be patient and get through each level by looking at the mission objectives, finding out what needs to be destroyed or protected. There's various weapon and fuel canisters that are around in each level to help you survive. It can be tough. This game can be tough. There's certain areas in which you have to protect something or go somewhere else. I like this game for many reasons. If you just want to blow things up, you can play the game that way. Or if you take your time and look at the mission objectives, you can go through and see what needs to be protected, destroyed, or escorted. This game has a little bit for everyone, and I really enjoy it to this day. I think it's actually one of Electronic Arts' finest games made on the Sega Genesis. I can't recommend this game enough. It's everywhere too, super common. Definitely check out Desert Strike. The Sega Genesis library consists of about 1/3 sports titles, so it was really hard for me to kind of narrow down what's the one game that you want to recommend to someone playing sports on the Sega Genesis. There's so many options. Tecmo Super Bowl comes to mind, a Madden 94, 95, or you can go kind of more of an arcade style, and that's NBA Jam Tournament Edition. This is a great game. No, it's not realistic. Yes, it's a lot of fun. Dunks, especially with the announcer, boom shakalaka. I mean, those are just some great memories I have of the 90s are from playing this game with friends, and I think it's a great, fun, arcadey style sports game. Now, there's other recommendations out there if you want to play something a little bit more realistic, but I like having fun first and foremost on video games, and you can't go wrong with NBA Jam Tournament Edition. Also, the first one's great as well. You can find both of these fairly cheap, and they're everywhere. This next title is one that I think is a great adaptation of the arcade game, and that's Road Blasters. This is a game I actually played a lot on my Nomad. I found myself kind of going back to it. It's easy to get into. In the game, there's a lot of strategy because you have to pick up fuel and ammo, and sometimes, especially in the later levels, you have to pick up fuel to get to the end of each level. I found it a great version of the arcade game, and I think it's well done. Look no further than Road Blasters. This game should be fairly cheap and found in a lot of places. All right, this next game is not a game. It's actually a package of games, and I'm cheating here a little bit, but because this game itself can be found really cheap, I'm gonna say this is probably, of all the games I'm recommending today, the #1 title to get, and that's the Genesis 6-pack. That's right, the Genesis 6-pack takes 6 amazing games, puts them on one cartridge, and you can get this game easily under $10 still. And that's Sonic the Hedgehog, Golden Axe, Streets of Rage, Revenge of Shinobi, Columns, and Super Hang On. And so whatever you choose on this classic game cart, you can't go wrong with the Genesis 6-pack. And probably of all the recommendations today, this is the one I recommend getting the most because, well, there's 6 games on one cart, and it was an original release. You can't go wrong with it. So there are my picks for inexpensive and good Sega Genesis games on the US console. What do you think? What are your picks? What would you recommend to somebody that's an inexpensive Sega Genesis release? I would love to hear your comments or your memories of playing some of the games that I've shown today. If you're new to the channel, please hit that like and subscribe button if you like what you see, because I upload videos every week. Thank you for the ongoing positive support. I'm having a lot of fun doing this series of videos. This is the Immortal John Hancock. Thank you so much for watching, and you take care.